And here we go, Season 1, Episode 16. Based on the conditions at Sugarbush, we decided to pull up stakes in Berlin and go down to Rutland and spend a couple days at Killington, then maybe do a day or two at Stratton on the way out for the week. So on Monday night, we began watching Monday Night Football. However, during the game, we had some issues that we needed to discuss and contend with as it impacted the rest of our trip for the week. One was an ongoing issue we had with the furnace. It would not ignite unless we ran the generator to get enough amperage to the igniter for the furnace to operate properly. The house batteries would not do the trick. Then, during about halftime, we noticed that the generator or the furnace would no longer ignite, meaning we would get no heat at all during the night. We'd have plenty of space heaters, we could heat the rig, but concern was the utility bays where the water sits, and to include the water pump. Our space heaters would do that, but what about when we were skiing, not there able to monitor it? Of course, the space heaters only work when the generator is running. So we're getting no heat. We didn't even hear clicks when you turn on the furnace and it starts up. You hear the fan starting, and then you hear some clicks to start the igniter. We weren't even getting that. So I'm going to show you what we saw behind this panel. I've already taken the screws off. This panel comes off not so easy, but I'll get it off and then I'll show you what's behind it. So this is the inside of the furnace. You'll see way back in there, I don't know if you can see it, let's see, there's a little red light, right, get my finger in the picture here, right back there, a little light, that's a light back there, that red thing, right there. So when that flashes, the number of flashes here tells you what kind of problem you have. One flash every 3 seconds, airflow limit fault. And that's what we had. We didn't have the other two. We had one flash every 3 seconds. So we weren't getting an airflow, and then if you watch some YouTubes on that, you'll find out that basically there's a fan inside here, and that fan pushes air, and there's a little switch that when the airflow is sufficient enough, that switch closes, and it allows it to the furnace to ignite. That switch wasn't closing for some reason. For some reason, we don't have enough air pressure in here flowing through the rig to allow that to happen. Now, that's what we were seeing up north when we made the decision to pull the plug on the trip. We were getting no ignition at all, no clicks, and we had that air. We did, there's a reset switch right here. We did reset it a couple times to no avail. So that's the story with that. And whoop, it's now on. Now let's see if it clicks at all. You should hear a click. Once it pushes, right now it's pushing old fumes out, cleaning it out, and we should get an ignition if it's working right. There we go. And you hear it ignite. We were not getting that up north at all. So I don't know what the problem was inside of here. We're going to take it in. And in fact, up north, it wouldn't ignite until that click happened 3 or 4 times. So we've got to get that checked out, because that will be a problem for us, needless to say, out west. All right. So not too concerning if the temperatures would cooperate. However, we had a forecast for Tuesday of a low in the single digits in Rutland, Vermont. We had moved down to Killington, so now we had to make a decision. We're going to continue to ski for a few days, or maybe again cut it short. Another factor for us to consider was a storm was coming in from the west, expected midweek in the New England states, with heavy snows on Wednesday and Thursday, obviously impacting travel. Would not be an issue if we were able to stay the entire week and go out Friday, but maybe make some of the Friday driving a little more dangerous than we would like. So around halftime, we got together and the three of us talked about the issues that we were having. The furnace issues would make getting along in low temperatures difficult with space heaters, given that the furnace would not light at all. and having the issue of the storm being not certain when it would hit and when it would impact our travel, we decided to pull up things and head home. We drove about almost 3 hours, just short of Oneonta, New York. We were stopped by a snow squall. We went from clear roads within minutes to snow-covered roads. We came up to a rest stop, pulled in there, and stopped there to take a nap for a couple hours so that we could relocate in the morning for our 2 workers to get a good hotspot location to do their work. Midday, we met up for lunch with some local friends. A classmate of mine from college lives in the area. We had lunch with him and his wife, and then later in the day, around 3 or 4, we were able to hit the road. About a 10-hour drive to Wake Forest. We got in just before 3 and called it a trip. I'd already scheduled a appointment at the local RV repair shop to have the furnace looked at for the Monday the 22nd. However, I was able to get it in early, obviously because we got home early. For the starting the generator with low amperage, they replaced the batteries. The batteries were about 5 years old, so they needed to be replacement. And then for the airflow air, they straightened out the switch. They were going to order a new part, but it wouldn't be until after we leave for the next phase of our trip to go out west. So I'll have to order that and have it delivered maybe at a drop box out west so that we have it available should we need that sometime during our season 2 adventures. So we were having some issues blowing fuses, so I did find a line here. I think it's line number 7 on the schematic. This receptacle is for the washer and dryer that's not obviously hooked up. I'm going to use that line for emergency space heaters so that we don't, when we're running the generator, we don't blow fuses off of. At the past we were just using 2 lines. So that's a backup. I'm going to put the wall back on the back of this closet. This is a closet in the back of the rig. Shut the door, but see, it's a closet in the back kitchen or back bedroom, and that's where we're going to run an extra line. Took some panels off the bottom. You can run the line out of those panels, and then just run those extension cords, heavy duty extension cords. So as part of our troubleshooting for the GFI failure, we're looking at all the plugs, and they all say GFCI protected, like this one, with no reset. Except, and we checked every one of the GFIs, even the one behind the walls. This one here does have a reset, and it would not reset no matter how many times I push the button, which means there's probably no power to the line, or another reset is popped. So I'm looking all over this thing for a reset button, somewhere where a power switch maybe hasn't been blown. One design improvement that could be made, though, certainly with these is when you're in the winter and you're not moving the slides out, you got to get on the ground here, and your fuse boxes are just down here. I don't know if you can see them. My fuse box is right here, and that's where, right in there, I will check my fuse to see if they're popped. So in the winter, when the slides aren't extended, got to crawl under the bed to get to the fuse boxes for both the shore power 120 volts or the battery power 12 volt little breakers are hidden under there. So we checked everything. I checked the manual, and that's when we called Thor customer care and found a circuit breaker we did not know existed. Hi, Bruno. So after a pretty good chat with the Thor customer service, very helpful, we got to a point of They suggested a circuit breaker that we didn't even know existed or that we had access to. This panel comes off. Alright, this panel does not come off easily. It snaps out. Lift up, down. And it'll slide out of here eventually. I hope. There we go. Alright, so what we found here, right here, right there, are two more circuit breakers. Two 30-amp circuit breakers, and one of them had popped. We would have never looked for a circuit, of course, here on the generator or breaker. Didn't occur to us. We were checking on the inside and everything. So there we have it. Another circuit breaker we didn't know that we had, that now we know, and we'll be good to go next time.
Alright, for the Ski RV 2020 to 21 season, we're going to use one of these maps and color in each of the places we've gone to. So, now that we're back from our first trip, Amanda's going to go ahead and do that.
Got Maine. What's next, Aaron?
New Hampshire.
Oh, baby, New Hampshire. Alright.
Vermont. Alright, then New York.
Where's that? Right in front of me. Alright. Pretty good at that.
Then Pennsylvania.
Is that Pennsylvania? No, it's not. Okay.
Then Maryland. That's a tough step.
Gonna be very delicate.
We know people from Maryland, they're pretty delicate.
Oops. Damn, they don't make it easy, do they? Alright, Maryland, close enough. Now what?
And Virginia. And then last for this portion of the trip is North Carolina, our home base.
Where is it?
Alright, we'll keep bringing this up as we hit new states and as we head out west. Talk to you guys later.